Welcome you all. On today's session, I will explain about Euler's turbine equation. And this Euler's turbine equation is used in energy exchange in turbo machines. So here, this figure shows the rotor of a generalized turbo machine with the axis of rotation OO with angular velocity omega. See the construction of this rotor and the axis of OO, and this one is a rotor. Now here the fluid inlet taking place at the radius of R1 and the exit of the fluid taking place from the rotor at the radius of R2. The fluid enters this rotor at the radius R1 at point 1, and this is a point 1 here, and passes through the rotor and leaves at radius R2 at point 2. Here, the flow is assumed to be steady and losses due to leakage are negligible. See the construction of this generalized rotor for the turbo machine with the axis of OO and inlet of the fluid is taking place here R1 and exit is taking place here. So this V1 that represents for the absolute velocity of the fluid, and so here this V2 represents the absolute velocity of the fluid at exit. So here omega represents the angular velocity of the rotor. The absolute velocity of the fluid can be resolved into the different components. The first one is the axial component, that is denoted by VA. So which is acting along the axis of the rotation. See here, so this is absolute velocity V1, and here the axial velocity is taking place in the axial direction. So here this one is shows what the VA that represents the axial component along the axis of the rotation. In similar manner, it is in what in exit also. The second component, that is a radial component, that is denoted by VRD, VF or VM. So which is perpendicular to the axis of the rotation. So here this one is called as, this is a perpendicular, this is the axis of the rotation here, this is perpendicular to that one, that is called as what now? The perpendicular to the axis of the rotation, this one is called as radial component. The tangential component, that is denoted by Vu, which is along the tangential direction of the rotor as shown in figure. So this one is called as what? Now this tangential velocity, that is in tangential to the axis of the rotation. The change in magnitude of axial velocity component give rise to the axial thrust, which must be taken up by the thrust bearing. The both ends of the rotor shaft is provided with a thrust bearing, so in order to take up the axial thrust. In similar manner, the change in magnitude of radial velocity component give rise to the radial thrust, which is to be taken up by the journal bearing. So neither of these forces causes no angular rotation nor any effect on the torque exerted on the rotor. The only velocity component, tangential velocity component, which changes the angular momentum of the fluid in tangential component, and then by Newton's law of motion, so which is equal to summation of all applied forces on the rotor. So according to this second law of motion. Here, if m1 is a mass of fluid entering the rotor at a radius r1 with a tangential component of Vu1 during the time of t. Similarly, m2 is the mass of fluid leaving the rotor at a radius r2 with a tangential component of Vu2 for the same interval of time t. Then the net force acting on the rotor, according to the Newton's law of motion, is given by the net force acting on the rotor is given by F is equals to m1 by gc into t, then multiplied with the Vu1 minus m2 by gc2 multiplied with the Vu2. So that is the net force acting on the rotor. So now m1 by time is equals to m2 by time is taken as m dot. That means now flow is steady through the turbo machine. The mass flow rate through the turbo machine is steady. For that reason it is taken as m dot. So according to this one, this net force on the rotor is given by m dot by gc into Vu1 minus Vu2. So this expression is taken as equation number 1. So now what is the torque applied or what is the torque on the rotor? The torque is given by force into radius. Force into radius. So according to this one, now this torque is equals to force. Already the expression number 1 is there for force. So now that is multiplied with the radius. The radius at inlet is given by R1 and radius at outlet is given by R2. So now this radius is multiplied with the force, that is equation number 2. The rate of energy transfer given by E naught is the product of torque and angular velocity. So that is E naught is equals to omega into torque. Or energy transfer is given by omega into torque. According to this, E naught is equals to omega into torque, that is the equation number 2, that is m dot by gc Vu1 R1 minus Vu2 R2. But omega into R is equals to tangential velocity of the rotor. Tangential velocity of the rotor is given by omega into r. So according to this, this equation becomes E naught or energy transfer is equals to m dot by gc into omega into r1. So that is taken as u1 and Vu1 minus omega into R2 is taken as U2 into Vu2. Hence, the energy transfer per unit mass of fluid. In case the unit mass of fluid is considered, at that time the energy transfer is given by E naught by M. So that is energy transfer in joules per kg. So now this equation becomes E is equals to U1 Vu1 minus U2 Vu2 by Gc, that is equals to change in enthalpy. That is equation number 4. Equation number 2, 3 and 4 are the different forms of general Euler's turbine equation or simply Euler's equation, and these forms the basic equation for all kind of turbo machines which may be power generating, namely turbines, or power absorbing type, that is pumps, compressor, fans, etc. Then for power generating type, the work done by the system to be positive. That means the power generating turbo machines that will produce power. For that reason, the work is positive. That means the product of U1 in and VU1 is greater than U2 VU2 in equations from 1 to 4. For this type of turbo machines, the energy transfer is also called as energy head is equals to U1 into VU1 minus U2 into VU2 by Gc. For power absorbing turbo machine, the work done on the system to be negative. That means U2 V2 VU2 is greater than U1 VU1, and this equation, that means the energy equation, is given by, that is, minus E, because work is done on the system, the work is negative, that is equals to the U2 VU2 minus U1 VU1 by Gc. So coming to the next topic, that is components of energy transfer. So in this diagram, so this one called as a rotor, and here what the inlet velocity triangle, and this one is called as exit velocity triangle. So now the fluid is injected or injected into the rotor at the velocity of v1, that is called as absolute velocity at inlet. So then that absolute velocity is resolved into axial velocity, then flow velocity as well as tangential velocity. So here the VR1, that is represents the relative velocity at inlet, the VF1 or VM1 is equals to flow velocity, and VU1 is given as tangential velocity at inlet, and here U1 is equals to blade velocity. In similar manner, so this is outlet velocity triangle. So here once again same, the absolute velocity at exit is also resolved into three different components, that is axial velocity, flow velocity as well as tangential component. Correct, tangential component, and U2 represents what, blade velocity. And one indicates the inlet of the fluid, and here 2 represents what, the exit of the fluid from the rotor. And this, because of this fluid inlet, that causes what, the rotation of the rotor at the angular velocity of omega. And once again, the velocity triangle is constructed individually for both inlet as well as exit. So now here the corresponding angle to the absolute velocity is given by alpha 1, and corresponding angle to the relative velocity is given by beta 1, and here 2 represents the alpha 2 is equals to absolute velocity, v2 is equals to absolute velocity at exit, alpha 2 is equals to nozzle angle at outlet, and beta 2 is equals to blade angle at outlet of the fluid. Here V1 is equals to the absolute velocity at inlet, alpha 1 is equals to inlet angle made by V1, VR1 is equals to the relative velocity of fluid at inlet, beta 1 is equals to inlet rotor angle, U1 is equals to the tangential velocity of the rotor at inlet, VU1 is equals to the tangential component of the absolute velocity V1 at inlet, or that is also called as whirl velocity of fluid at inlet. Vf1 is equals to Vm1 is equals to radial component of the absolute velocity V1 at the inlet, or flow velocity at the inlet. Then V2, alpha 2, VR2, beta 2, U2, VU2 and VM2 are the corresponding components of the outlet. Now consider the velocity triangulate outlet from the given geometry. So according to this, Vm2 square. So actually here Vm2 square is equals to, according to Pythagoras theorem, that is V2 square is equals to Vu2 square plus Vm2 square. So now Vm2 square is equals to V2 square minus Vu2 square. And we can also write this expression as Vm2 square is equals to Vr2 square. So take this one as a x here. This distance you take it as a x. So according to this theorem, Vr2 square is equals to Vm2 square plus x square. So now I want Vm2 square, that is equals to Vr2 square minus x square. So what about this x now? The x is equals to, there is a distance of what? The u2 minus vu2. Is it? So now this distance of x is equals to u2 minus vu2. So now we can write this expression as Vm2 square is equals to Vr2 square minus, so this one is now x. This one is taken as x here. What about x? X is equals to u2 minus vu2, that whole square. So now Vr2 square minus u2 square minus Vu2 square, that is a plus here. Once again the plus, and this one is a outside, there is a minus. Therefore, for that reason it is minus Vu2 square, then minus 2u2 v2. See, according to the expression a minus b whole square. See, according to a minus b whole square is equals to a square plus b square minus 2ab. See, according to this logic, so now this expression becomes minus u2 square minus vu2 square plus u2 vu2. So according to this, so therefore, so initially we obtain Vm2 square is equals to V2 square Vu2 square. The same thing is written over here, and that is equals to what? This expression Vr2 square minus u2 square minus vu2 square plus 2u2 vu2. So there is a next expression for Vm2 square. So after simplifying this, so here u2 vu2 is here, keep it as it is here. Now the 2 multiplied with 2, so take that 2 to another side, that is a left hand side, that is 1 by 2. So remaining here it is a v2 square, then u2 square is here, that is taken to the next side, that is another side, that is a plus u2 square minus vr2 square. So here Vu2 square and this Vu2 square and this Vu2 square, that will get cancelled. So after simplifying this one, we will get the expression as u2 Vu2 is equals to half V2 square plus u2 square minus Vr2 square. So that is expression number 5. Similarly at inlet, so this one is for what now? At outlet, correct? This expression for what? Outlet. So similarly at inlet, u1 Vu1 is equals to half. So now here the absolute velocity, that is instead of V2, that is V1 square plus u1 square minus Vr1 square. So that is expression number 6. By substituting the equation 5 and 6 in equation number 4, that is the previous expression, we get Euler's equation as, that is energy transfer is equals to 1 by 2 Gc into V1 square plus U1 square minus Vr1 square minus V2 square minus U2 square plus Vr2 square. So now for power generating type of the turbo machine, so this energy transfer is given by 1 by 2 Gc. So then further simplify that previous expression, equation number 6. So now this one is taken as V1 square minus V2 square plus u1 square minus u2 square plus Vr2 square minus Vr1 square. So that is expression number 7. And that is energy transfer in power generating type of the turbo machine. For power absorbing type of the turbo machine, so this energy transfer is equals to 1 by 2 Gc V2 square minus V1 square plus U2 square minus U1 square plus Vr1 square minus Vr2 square. So that is expression number 5. Next, what are the components of energy transfer? For power generating type of the turbo machine, this is the expression for energy transfer. That is expression number 7, what we derived in that previous uh, derivation. So in this one, for power absorbing type of the machine, so this is expression for energy transfer. That is expression number 8. So in this first term which one? That is V1 square minus V2 square by 2 Gc. So this represents change in fluid energy due to movement of rotation of fluid during its passage through the machine. The second term u1 square minus u2 square by 2 Gc. So this represents change in the fluid energy due to movement of rotation of fluid from one radius to the another radius, that is called as the centrifugal energy. This is the energy transfer due to the centrifugal effect. So this is equals to enthalpy drop for power generating machine. The third term represents that is kinetic energy change, that is Vr2 square minus Vr1 square by 2 Gc. So that is related to relative velocity change. This will result in a change of static load or pressure within the rotor itself. So it is also called reactive component. Therefore, in equation number 7, the first term represents change of dynamic head, also called as energy per pressure, energy of pressure. Second term and third term represents change in static head. The total head utilized or produced is therefore a summation of dynamic head and static head. Next, general analysis of turbo machine. There are two types of the turbo machines, that is impulse turbine as well as reaction turbines or reaction machines. So in impulse type of the machines are those in which only the kinetic energy available at the inlet of the machine for the production of power or energy transformation. So that is the static pressure at the inlet is same as the static pressure at the outlet of the machine. Hence, it signifies VR1 is equals to VR2 for impulse machine. The example for that such type of the turbines are Pelton wheel turbines. Second one, the reaction machines are those in which addition to kinetic energy of the fluid at inlet, the pressure energy is also available in course of energy transformation. Hence, in this case, VR1 is not equals to VR2. The example for such type of the machines are long sprinkler person steam turbine. That means in this section we discussed about, so what is Euler's turbine equation, what are the different general forms of the Euler turbine equations, then the components of turbines, and thank you.